Hello everyone and welcome back for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets and drama. So I'm back for another Scorpio's recap, and this video is a combined video for the viewing parties for episodes 11, 12 and 13. So today we're going to be talking about Scorpio's addresses Discord Addams and denies her claims that they lied about her. Eureka O'Hara explains why Violet Chachki doesn't like her. And Nicole Paige Brooks reveals why Nina Bonina Brown refused to come on her YouTube channel. All that and more coming up in today's video, so let's get started. So first we're going to start with the viewing party for season 18 episode 11, and the guests that week were Scarlet Envy and Robin Fierce. Before the guests came out, the host Eureka said she wanted to address some drama that had been going on in the comments from the previous week's viewing party to do with Discord Addams. Just as a quick reminder, some of you may remember I did mention this in a previous Scorpio's recap, which I'll link to in the description, but a few weeks ago, Discord was a guest at Scorpio's. Then a few weeks later, the hosts were asked who the most difficult guest was that they've had on, and one of the other hosts, called Lulu, revealed that Discord apparently got so drunk that she tried to get in an Uber and leave without performing, even though it was in her contract. And Eureka said she had to physically go and get Discord out of the Uber and threatened to not pay her if she didn't come back inside. After that Scorpio's episode came out, this clip went a bit viral, and Discord actually commented on it, saying that this was not true, and she said in fact Scorpios were the ones who booked the taxi, and Discord got an alert on her phone that it arrived, which is why she left. She also said they did not threaten to not pay her, because she went back inside voluntarily, and she added that in her contract it said that performing was optional, and she thought because they ordered the Uber for her, they did not need her to perform. And they also paid Discord a lot less than her usual booking fee, but Discord didn't mind because she was trying to help out a new viewing party. But after Discord commented these things, people started accusing Scorpios of lying about what happened and saying untrue things about Discord. Well, there has actually been an update since then. After I posted my video talking about this drama, Scorpios commented on my video, and they also did a pinned comment on their own video explaining what happened. And in the interest of fairness and presenting both sides, I'm going to read out what Scorpios said, but I am going to paraphrase it because it was quite a long comment. It was written by Drew, who is one of the Scorpio staff members. They said it's hard to put on a viewing party and keep it free because they don't charge a cover at the door, and they invite the queens to come and have a kiki, and they are not about the drama. They really enjoyed having Discord there and said she was, quote, definitely a little tipsy that night and got confused about the time. She ended up calling her own Uber, but when we saw her leaving, we just laughed about it with her, and she still did the late show with no problems. They explained that they use a business portal for Uber where they give the queens a link so they can book the taxis there and back themselves. They also included a screenshot of a message with Uber customer support where they seemed to confirm that it was indeed Discord who requested the taxi, not Scorpios, as Discord had claimed. They also said in terms of what Discord claimed about performing being optional, they said it was not optional, and they posted a photo of Discord's contract to show that it was actually stipulated in the contract, and this came straight from Discord's management, so they were unsure why Discord was confused about it, but they mentioned again that Discord was tipsy that night, so maybe she just got confused. They ended by saying that they would happily have Discord back at Scorpios again, and they don't want any drama, they just wanted to clear up some of the misconceptions about the situation. And they asked people to stop sending them hate because they have been flooded with mean messages since this drama started. And as I always say, it's really not okay to send hate to anyone, so please just remember to watch and consume this type of content passively and don't get involved. But going back to Scorpios, Eureka clarified that the situation with Discord was just a kiki backstage and it wasn't that serious. She has actually texted Discord since then, and Discord said she had a great time and Eureka would happily bring her back. Lulu also backed this up and said Discord had already apologised and it's all good, so Eureka asked everyone to stop sending hate. So they moved on and Scarlet and Robin came out on stage. They then got to the usual question of how the queens felt when they got on Drag Race. Scarlet said she auditioned 3 times that she can remember, plus one time she doesn't really remember because it was her very first audition and she was a mess. Robin said she actually has a wild story about when she got her call. She said the year before she actually got on the show, someone she considered a friend who knew she had auditioned for Drag Race prank called her on New Year's Eve pretending to be from Drag Race and told her that she had been cast on season 14. They even went as far as getting a fake Google number with an LA area code to make it look legit. Robin said she didn't pick up at the time because it was New Year's, but they left a voicemail, and when Robin listened to the voicemail, she really thought that she got on the show, went through the whole emotional roller coaster and cried about it to her friends. Then the next morning, this person texted her saying it was a prank and they thought it would be funny, but Robin said she had a quote full emotional breakdown over it and she no longer speaks to this person as a result. But then the following year, when Robin got the actual call from Drag Race saying she got on, she had to verify with them multiple times that it was real because of what happened the year before. Robin added that she auditioned 4 or 5 times in total and had been doing drag for about 6 or 7 years by the time she got on. There was then a question for Robin, which was, what was it like competing alongside Lucy LaDuca, Amethyst and Jax, because they're all from Connecticut as well. Robin said the good thing was having people she knew there to lean on, but that was also a bad thing, and she joked that she only got 15 minutes of screen time on her season, and she thinks that if she had not known anyone there, she probably would have been more outgoing. There was also a question for Scarlet about whether she and Hannah Conda from Drag Race Down Under have made up. Just to explain in case you don't know, both Scarlet and Hannah were on UK vs the World Season 2 together. On the show, it seemed that Hannah and Scarlet did not get on, and Hannah said more than once that she wanted Scarlet gone because she felt like Scarlet was playing a game. Hannah actually ended up eliminating Scarlet in episode 7, and Scarlet later said that she felt like Hannah's decision was quote personal and confronted her about it at the reunion. So after that, people assumed that Hannah and Scarlet were not on good terms. Going back to Scorpios, Scarlet said that she and Hannah have since made up and it happened on the tour bus. She said she likes a party girl like Hannah, and sometimes it just takes 30 seconds to come together and say sorry. Although Scarlet did add that there are some queens that she's been on TV with that she still does not like to this day, but Hannah Conda is not one of them, but she wouldn't say who the other queens are that she does not like. Okay, now let's get on to the Scorpios viewing party for season 18, episode 12, and the guests that week were Eureka O'Hara and Ariete. They started off with the question they asked all the queens, which was how the queens felt getting the call to say they were on Drag Race. Eureka said that she dropped her phone in the toilet when she got the call. She drove straight to her mother's house and told her that the drag was finally going to pay off. Her mother's reaction was basically just a polite congratulations because she said her mother really doesn't know what Drag Race is. And Eureka said she auditioned 4 times before getting on the show. Ariete said that the call was, quote, life-changing and she threw up on herself when she found out, although this may have been a joke. Ariete also said that she auditioned 4 times, which is the same as Eureka. The host Eureka revealed that she herself has auditioned 3 times for Drag Race, and both Eureka and Ariete joked that 4th time is the charm, so maybe Eureka will get on next time. Eureka then asked Eureka about her experience across all of her seasons, because she's been on Season 9, Season 10, All Stars 6 and Canada vs the World, and asked which was her favourite. Eureka said they were all special for different reasons. She loved season 9 because she was so new to everything, and for example, she had never been on an aeroplane before, so when she saw Lady Gaga in the workroom, she genuinely cried, and that reaction was true. On season 10, she felt more prepared but also had a lot more pressure on herself. And then on All Stars 6, that was during COVID, so she was just happy to get out of the house. And for Canada versus the World, although Eureka did have a good time on the show, she said she kind of regrets saying yes because she wasn't ready mentally to go on at the time, but the reason she did say yes was because she wanted the world to see her as a trans woman. Ariete was then asked what her favourite season of Drag Race in general is, and Ariete said season 7. Eureka asked if that was the season Violet Chachki won, and they said yes, and Eureka just said okay and did a tongue pop and said, quote, "my least favourite person," and people laughed. Eureka then said, quote, "Violet knows I don't like her, she don't like me either." I did a bit of research about this, and I can't tell when this beef started between Eureka and Violet, but I did find a Reddit post from 2019 where it looks like Eureka commented on one of Violet's social media posts saying, "This is truly stunning. You're ugly on the inside, but you can't say the same about the outside, lol." And Violet replied saying, "Don't comment on my posts." So clearly this beef between Eureka and Violet has been going on for quite some time, although I couldn't find a specific reason as to why it started. Going back to Scorpios, Eureka then told a story of when she and Violet were on tour together. Eureka went up to Violet and asked, quote, "Violet, why are you so rude to me?" And Violet apparently replied saying, quote, "Because you remind me of Ginger Minj." Eureka added, quote, "I said, how dare you, I'm like 4 foot taller than Ginger Minj, mind you, and I tell the truth." And everyone laughed because this was clearly a bit of shade about all of the accusations against Ginger Minj that she tells lies. Okay, and finally, let's get on to the Scorpios viewing party for season 18, episode 13, and the guests that week were Acacia Forgot and Nicole Paige Brooks. They started off with a question for Acacia about the drama she had with Suzie Toot on their season. Some of you may remember that during the Rusical episode, both Acacia and Suzie wanted the same role, and they both argued about who should get the role.
All she's doing is putting me down, and that's just pissing me off.
No, I will not do that. I'm not like musical theater like that's you.
The role of Green Witch is older theater Broadway girl. Susie's like a fucking 98-year-old washed up theater nerd.
Acacia joked that since they filmed a couple of years ago, Suzie is now a, quote, 92-year-old washed-up theatre nerd instead of whatever age she called her before. But Acacia explained there was no real beef, and she was just bitter because Suzie was doing better than her, and she needed to take it out on someone. Acacia also revealed that it was not just her. Apparently everyone was dogging on Suzie and no one liked her, but the edit made it look like it was mainly Acacia and Lexi who didn't like her. Acacia said everyone on the cast thought Suzie was going to be the first eliminated queen, and then the judges loved her, which none of the queens understood. There was then a question for Nicole about whether she would ever collaborate with fellow Atlanta queen Nina Bonina Brown. This is because not only are Nicole and Nina both from Atlanta, but they both have YouTube channels, and Nicole has had other queens come on her channel in the past for interviews. Nicole said she's actually tried multiple times to get Nina on her YouTube channel, but apparently Nina said, quote, "it's a setup," and Nicole said, quote, "she does not trust me." Nicole explained that the House of Brooks was really dominant in the Atlanta drag scene for a long time, and, quote, "you couldn't go to any show without like 3 or 4 of us in there." She acknowledged that this shut out a lot of other queens, but said they all practically lived together and, quote, "we was just trying to keep the lights on, so whoever had a show would book whoever else was living with them. Nicole joked that this was, quote, nepotism within their drag family, and a lot of other queens like Nina probably felt like they were being shut out of the Atlanta scene. And Nicole said about Nina, quote, I feel like I probably owe apologies to her for that. So Nicole said she really wanted Nina to be her first Ru Girl interview on her YouTube channel and asked people to message Nina and tell her that she's going to be nice. They then watched a bit of that week's episode when the queens were sharing emotional stories, and there was a question about whether production makes the queens tell emotional stories for the cameras. Nicole said, quote, it's not scripted, it's instigated. She gave an example from her season where production went up to Kylie Sonique Love and said, quote, Kylie, go ask Nicole what she would be doing if she were in Atlanta. Nicole said she obviously said something like, quote, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd be getting my son off the bus right now, and Nicole would get emotional about missing her son, which is exactly what production were hoping for, and she said, quote, they poke and prod you to try and get an emotional reaction. Acacia then backed this up with an example from her season. She said production went up to Arietti and said something along the lines of, quote, so you had an eating disorder, so did Corey King. So while you're getting ready today, go over and casually bring up in conversation that you guys have this in common. The audience gasped a bit, and Acacia said she thought that was kind of crazy for production to say that, and questioned how you would even bring up an eating disorder like that in conversation. There was then a question about Nicole appearing on Fashion Photo Review with Raja recently, because Nicole has co-hosted some episodes for season 18. Nicole confirmed they film all the episodes in one day. She said she started out with 1 edible and a glass of wine, then by the second episode it was 1 edible plus 2 blunts and 3 glasses of wine, and by the last one Nicole said, quote, I didn't even put a corset on. She said she only remembers the first episode, and when the second one came out she was like, quote, babe, what did I wear for that second episode? I couldn't even remember what I had on because the edible had kicked in. She also explained that when they film, they are only shown the runway looks and they do not get told anything about the judges' critiques, who was in the top or bottom, or any of the storyline from the episode. And finally, they watched the judges' critiques for that week, and Acacia revealed an interesting detail about how the critiques work on the main stage. Acacia said once you've had your critiques, you're allowed to sit down on a stool. But every time Acacia was in the bottom on her season, they would put her at the end of the line so she couldn't sit down. So Acacia joked that, quote, I was squatting and heaving while everyone else was sitting. I was a rat and they were like a cat, and I was their little toy to play with before they murdered me, and everyone laughed. So there you go, there was the Scorpios recap for season 18, episodes 11, 12 and 13. What was your favourite part of these Scorpios recaps? And which bit of tea in this video surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my newest Patreon members. We have Laura, who upgraded to the Euro Winner Baby tier, Eric, who joined in the Euro Winner Baby tier, and Brody and Dalton, who joined in the Drag Tea All-Stars tier. Laura and Eric, you are both winners, baby, and Brody and Dalton, you are not just a star, you are a Drag Tea All-Star. If you'd like to watch my videos before they go on YouTube, as well as see the things that I cut out of my Roscoe's recaps, as well as other exclusive content, please check out my Patreon. It just costs a few dollars a month and it really does help support the channel, and I'll put a link to my Patreon in the description. I'd also like to say thank you so much to all of my amazing Patreon members. I really do pinch myself all the time thinking about how lucky I am to have all of you supporting me, and it really does make a huge difference to the channel, so thank you all so much. Please make sure you like and comment on this video to help boost it in the algorithm and promote it to more people. And please make sure you subscribe. It's free, it only takes 2 seconds, and it really does make a big difference to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me in the future for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets, and drama. Thank you so much. Bye.